Video number 2. Thanks for watching. Unit 1 practice test with radicals, absolute value, and piecewise. So this looks very similar kind of in the beginning, so we're hoping the test is just this easy, right? Hopefully. So we're going to square both sides, and x minus 2 is equal to 25. We're going to add 2 to the other side, and so then that gives us x equals 27. Now it does say to make sure for any extraneous, so be careful there, better check your answers. So we get 27, plug it in. 27 minus 2 is 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. It works. Awesome. We're getting some more steps here, like 14. Ooh, so 14 is definitely a day 2 or another harder radicals. We have it all isolated to one side, so that's beautiful. I'm going to first switch the x plus 5 around, because that's what we're kind of used to, putting the x first. And then, now when we square both sides, you're going to have to square everything on the right and everything on the left. Excellent. So now we get 1 minus x, because the radical goes away, is equal to, so x plus 5 squared is the same as x plus 5 times x plus 5. Remember a problem like this? And then you're going to have to FOIL that x through, or distribute rather, because we've graduated for FOILing, now we're distributing. So x times x is x squared. 5 times 5 is 25. Leave a space in the middle for what? For your nose, remember, in your mouth. So here's your nose, we have 5x, and then your mouth, we have another 5x. So don't forget the middle terms. And 5x plus 5x, we zoom in there, can you see this okay? So then 5x plus 5x is 10x, right? So we have x squared plus 10x equals 25, plus 25. And then we bring down our 1 minus x. And this time we're going to go ahead and get everything on the same side, because there's 2x squared, there's 2 solutions. So we're going to add 1 to the other side, so we get 26. And then add, oh, that's a minus, Newbold, sorry. Minus 1, careful now. Minus 1 to both sides, so that's actually a 24. And then we're going to go ahead next, and we're going to go so that we just minused 1 to the other side and got 24. Then we're going to add x to both sides, and so now we get an 11x. So x squared plus 11x plus 24. Running out of room. So we're going to come over here and write x squared plus 11x plus 24. And so now we're going to go ahead and do what that we just did there. So we're going to go ahead and factor it to get our 2 solutions. So now we've got to think of 2 numbers that when you multiply them you get 24, but when you add them you get 11. So 6 times 4 is 24, but 6 plus 4 is 10, not 11. What about 8 times 3 is 24? Yep, when you add them you get 11. So then we want to actually go ahead and set each of these equal to 0 to get our answer. So we're going to minus 3, minus 8, minus 8. And so we are going to get x is equal to a negative 8, and x is equal to a negative 3. So since I got some solutions there that are negative, that makes me think maybe one of them or both of them might be extraneous. So now we have to go back to the original, right, and plug it back in. Well, we know that a square root, here's the original, so we know a square root will never yield a negative number, and so when I see 5 plus x, I know that when I plug in the negative 8, that's going to give us a negative 3, and a square root will not give us a negative number. Sorry? So when I plug in negative 8 right there for x, negative 8, 5 minus 8 is negative 3, and a square root will never yield a negative number. So we know that x equals negative 8 is extraneous. Extraneous. Now negative 3 might work, so 5 minus 3 is 2, and then put a negative in here. Negative times negative is a positive, and so negative times a negative is a positive 3, and 3 plus 1 is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2, so that one does work. So x equals negative 3 is our solution. Definitely one of the harder, longer problems, so watch it again. My video how to do solving radicals, or watch this one again. Beautiful. So this one's going to be a little bit easier and not as long, so that's number 15. So watch out, that plus means that we're just going to go ahead and not divide it, because that's only when it's right next to the radical, but it's got a plus. So we're going to actually take this positive 6, and first we're going to minus it to the other side. What the? X minus 4 equals 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Well, square root will never yield a negative number, so that means no solution. Or extraneous solution. So that was actually faster even than we thought. So there's for number 15. Okay, number 16 might be a little bit more work. Ugh. So we're going to go to minus 2 to both sides to get all the stuff that's not radical to the other side. So then 8 minus 2 is 6. 8 minus 2 is 6. Minus x, we're going to switch those around. And so we're going to do the square root of 6x plus 4. Barney Notch, there it is. So 6x plus 4 is going to be equal to, we have a 6 and a minus and an x. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we'll give it a try. So what we have to do then is we have to square that whole thing. That's going to be crazy. So let's go ahead and square that sucker. So then we're going to square both sides. So we're left with 6x plus 4 is equal to, so negative x times negative x is a positive x squared. 6 times 6 is 36. And then negative x times 6 is a negative 6x. And 6 times negative x is a negative 6x. So negative 12x. Skipping a little step there. Skipping a step because we don't have much room. So then we're going to minus 4, minus 4. 36 minus 4 is 32. And then minus 6 to get everything on the same side. We get to negative 18x. And now we've got to go ahead and factor that. And so when we factor that sucker, there we go. When we factor it, what do you think? 2 times 9, oh wait, we're doing factors of 32. So 8 times 4 is 32, but that doesn't work. That doesn't give us 18. But maybe, what do you think? Maybe 16? So 2 times 16 is 32. And negative 2, negative 6 is negative 18. And negative times negative is a positive. So that does work. So then we're going to set each of those equal to 0. You're going to switch the signs. So instead of x minus 2 and x minus 16, our solutions are x equals a positive 2 and a positive 16. Because all we're doing is setting them equal to 0 and then adding them to both sides. Okay, let's plug it in and make sure it works. So we plug in a 2. 8 minus 2 is 6. Minus the 2 over, so we get 4. Plug the 2 in. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. And square root of 16 does equal 4. It works. Then 16 in there. 8 minus 16 is a negative 8. Minus 2 is a negative 10. Uh-oh. So 16 is going to be a negative number there. And so that means it's not going to work. It's going to be extraneous. So number 16 is extraneous. That spells extraneous. It's hard to see, but it does. It spells extraneous. Okay, number 17 is going to be an easy run. Remember to pause me and rewind, go back to make sure that you get all the info that you need. Make sure the bell's not going to ring there. We're doing good still, doing good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and minus 5 to both sides for number 17. So we get the square root of 3 minus x is equal to what? They did it to us again. So whoever made this practice test loves to get negative numbers with radicals. I don't know why. So 4 minus 5 is a negative 1. Square root cannot yield a negative number, so no solution or extraneous. Okay, so there's number 17. Bam. We got a lot of extraneous ones going on. What the heck? Okay, so this one should hopefully be a little bit easier. We're going to power 2 both sides. Get rid of the radical. So when you plug it back in, include the radical though. Don't forget that. X squared minus 10 is equal to 2 minus x. We're going to get everything on the same side. Keep the x squared positive. Keep your x positive because they'll come after you if you don't. You already broke up with them and made them mad. So keep the x squared positive. We're going to go to minus 2 to both sides to get a negative 12. And we're going to add x to both sides, which doesn't add with anything because it doesn't have a power, it's just 1. So we're just going to bring down the x squared and bring down that x to the first power. Then we're going to factor that sucker. So 2 and 6 gives us 12, but doesn't give us 1. Ooh, but 3 times 4 gives us 1. That's nice. So then, let's see, what do the signs have to be? So the middle term is positive, so remember the bigger number. Say it with me. So the bigger number shares the sign of the middle term. Say it with me. The bigger number shares the sign of the middle term. Because 4 minus 3 is positive 1. Beautiful. Set them both equal to 0. We get two solutions. So we get x equals a negative 4 and x equals a positive 3. When you add 3 to the other side, minus 4 to the other side. So then let's make sure those both work. So we plug in a 3 into the original. So the original, here we go. So we got 3 squared minus 10 is equal to the square root of 2 minus 3. What the? 9 minus 10, 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 10 is a negative 1. That's an imaginary number. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. That's an imaginary number. But they equal. Ugh. They do equal, so we will say that's our solution. Double check with me before you take the test next time. Let's try negative 4. Negative 4 in there is squared is 16. 16 minus 10 is 6. We get radical 6 is equal to, plug a negative 4 in there. Negative times negative is a positive 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. So that one also works. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one. The x equals 3. I think it works. I think so. But you do get negative in the radical. It's just imaginary I equals I. I don't know. That's kind of a tricky one. It's above the x-axis. I don't know. That's a tricky one. So ask me about number 18 in class, and we can look at that one together again, just in case, before the test. Okay, so here's number 19 now. So this one is very similar to number 18. You just got to go ahead and add that radical 5x to the other side. So when you add that to the other side, you get it just to the other side, right? So add that to the other side, then we get x squared minus 1 is equal to 5x minus 5. But it's positive on this side now, of the equal, on the right side of the equal sign. Excellent, there we go. So then we're going to go ahead and power to both sides. So we get x squared minus 1 is equal to 5x minus 5. Want to get everything on the same side. Keep your x's, x squared positive, so we'll minus the 5x to the left. So we get x squared minus 5x, and then add the 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. You want to factor that sucker, x and x. 2 and 2 could work, but 2 and 2 does not give us negative 5. So I'm thinking that probably 1 and 4. And we need to get to negative 5, so they're probably both negative. Setting each equal to 0. Negative times a negative is a positive 4, and then negative plus negative is more negative. It works. So we are going to get two solutions, x equals 1 and positive 4. Now let's make sure to plug it back into the original to make sure it works. So then, oh, it says with calculator, Newbold. Could we have done this with a calculator? Yeah, we could do this with a calculator. I'll show you how to do it if you want. So we do get solutions 1 and 4, but we need to make sure it works. And so you plug it back in. 1 squared minus 1 is 0. Yep, and then plug in a 4. 4 times 5. Uh-oh, I don't know if 1 actually works. That could be tricky. Because 1 squared is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. That goes away. And then you plug 1 in there. Oh yeah, 5 minus 5 is 0. Yep, so 1 is going to work. What about 4? So 4 squared is 16. 16 minus 1 is radical 15. And then we do 4 in here. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 5. 20 minus 5 is radical 15. And radical 15 minus radical 15 is 0. So yes, they both work. But we'll go ahead and show you on the calculator real quick, because it does say you can use your calculator. So we're going to go and zoom out here. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so with our calculator, what you do to see if it works on the calculator is you go to y equals, turn off our stats plot, and we're going to go ahead and type in just that whole problem how it is. So that was the square root of x squared minus 1. So the square root of x squared minus 1. And then we're going to do minus the square root of 5x minus 5. So the square root of 5x minus 5. Excellent. And then we're just going to graph that whole thing. And so that actually lands us on the x-intercept, right? The x-axis. And so, we got to go ahead and zoom in because we got to fix our window to be a negative 10 by 10 graph. So we'll go ahead and push zoom 6 if you ever have a problem there. Okay, so there we go. So that's our graph. And so where does it hit on the x-axis for our solution? So it should hit at, let's see, table So we have all those errors there till we get to, where's the y equals 0 basically. And so y equals 0, here we go. Add 1, which is our solution, 1. And also add 4, it also works at 4, beautiful. Now that's just doing it with everything on the same side, y equals all that. If we were going to do a different problem, for example, maybe like a harder one, like maybe number 14, you wanted to use your calculator to do number 14, then you would just plug each of those y equals and y equals into your calculator. So let's try that real quick too, just to show it to you. So back to number 14, we're going to do the square root of 1 minus x. So the square root of 1 minus x, there we go. So we plug that in for graph 1. So basically you're graphing the left side and you're graphing the right side. And the right side is 5 plus x. There we go. So then when we graph this, we're actually looking for the solutions, which is just the ones that intersect. So, ooh, bam, it only intersects in one space. Let's see where it is. So we're going to go to trace button, go over to the intersection. So it looks like at about -3. But if we want to be exact, you go to second button, calc. And so this is called the intersection feature. Remember, so go second, calc, and then go to intersection option 5, push enter. All around the first curve, yes. Second curve, push enter again. And then guess, yep, right about there. There it is. We have an intersection at -3, 2. So x equals -3 is our solution. So then we go back to our original, remember all that work we did? You remember all that work we did for number 14? And there it is. -3 was our solution, remember? -3 is our solution. There it is. And so that's correct because that's also the intersection that we found on the calculator. X equals -3, x equals -3, right there, -3. Beautiful, so that's how you do it on the calculator. So the last video, I'm going to do one more, is going to carry over to the back side with graphing. So make sure you tune in for the last video. What? Thanks for watching, Newbold. Woo! That was probably blurry, huh? See you in a second.